Greetings to all. This is Mohammad Junaid from Data Science Stream B section, and today I'm here to give a presentation on list comprehension. So let's get started with the presentation. Yeah. So our topic is list comprehension. Introduction part. Python is renowned for encouraging developers and programmers to write efficient, easy to understand, and almost as simple to read code. One of the most distinctive aspects of the language is the Python list and the list comprehension feature. So list and the list comprehension, these two features are the distinctive aspects of the Python. Is nothing but it's a very important and a very useful uh, features of the Python, we can say. So which one can use within a single line of code to construct a powerful functionality. Now, list comprehensions are used for creating new lists from other iterables like tuples, strings, arrays, lists, etc. So a list comprehension consists of brackets containing the expression which is executed for each element along with the for loop to iterate over each element. Okay. Now, firstly, we'll see a comparison between list comprehension versus for loop in Python. Okay. Now, suppose we want to separate the letters of the word human. So a letter human is given. Suppose, for example, if we want to separate the particular word human and add the letters as items of a list, the first thing that comes in mind would be using for loop. Okay. Now let's see some examples. So this is an example using for loop condition. Okay. Now h underscore letters is equals to square bracket, open square bracket, close square bracket. Okay. Here for letters in human h underscore letters dot append letter. Okay. Print h underscore letters. So this is a code to add some components or some letters into this existing list using for loop. Now we'll see the output here. See. So when we run the above program, the output will be like this. However, Python has an easier way to solve this issue. So instead of writing this whole code using for loop, we can also write this code using the list comprehension. So how, we'll see now. Python has an easier way to solve this issue using list comprehension. List comprehension is an elegant way to define and create a list based on the existing list. Okay. Now, let's see how the above program can be written using the list comprehension. Yeah, iterating through a string using list comprehension. So here this given h underscore letters equals to letter for letter in human. So this is the important syntax for the list comprehension. Okay. Instead of writing this much of code, this much of code, 3 lines of code, if we write this single syntax, h underscore letters equals to letter for letter in human, then print h underscore letters. Then the output will be this. When we run the program, the output will be same. Okay. So this the same output we got when we applied for loop condition, and when we applied list comprehension. But the difference is in the list comprehension, there is just a 1 line of syntax which we have to remember. Okay. Now, in the above example, a new list is assigned to variable h letters, and list contains the items of the iterable string. human. We call print within the parenthesis function to receive the output. Okay. Now, yeah, this is the syntax for the list comprehension. So expression for the list for the item in the list. Now here expression for item in the list. So letter for letter in human. This is only the just one line of syntax is there. So if we write this, it will be easy to put. Okay. Yeah. Next, we can now identify where list comprehensions are used. Okay. Now from the above slides, we have learned that where can be list comprehension used. Okay. If you notice, human is a string. Okay, we all know that human is a string, not a list. Okay, this is the power of list comprehension. It can identify when it receives a string or a tuple and work on it like a list. Okay, firstly, it receives a string or a tuple and works on it as a list. It means the list comprehension function treats a string as a list. Okay, you can do that using loops also, but it's a very different. It means it's a very difficult. We 2 to 3 lines of code we have to write extra for the loops condition. Okay, however, not every loop can be written as a list comprehension, but as you learn and get comfortable with the list comprehensions, you will find yourself replacing more and more loops with this elegant syntax. So now in the above slide, we have seen list comprehension versus for loop. Now we will be seeing list comprehensions versus lambda functions. So list comprehensions aren't the only way to work on the list. Various built-in functions and lambda functions can create and modify lists in less lines of code. Okay, not only the list comprehensions, but also using lambda functions, we can create or modify any list in a less lines of code. Now, here there is an example using lambda function inside a list. So letters is equals to list within the parenthesis map within the parenthesis lambda x human. Print letters the same object. So here not only the list comprehension but also lambda function is also very useful. Using the lambda function, we can get the same output, but the difference is the syntax. Okay, in the list comprehension also we have the single line syntax, but it is quite easy. Okay, now however, list comprehensions are usually more human readable than lambda functions. As I have told you that the list comprehension are more comfortable, okay, more elegant, and it has some easy syntax than compared to the lambda functions. It is easier to understand what the programmer was trying to accomplish when list comprehensions are used. Okay, now we will be seeing conditionals in the list comprehension. List comprehensions can utilize conditional statement to modify existing list or other tuples. We will create list that uses mathematical operators, integers, and range functions. Example here, using if with a list comprehension. Number underscore list is equals to within the square bracket x for x in range 20 if x is divisible by 2 equivalent to 0. Okay, here print number underscore list. Here this syntax is nothing but from the range 0 to 20 which are divisible by 2, we want that output. So this is the syntax for that using conditionals. If condition, we are using if condition with list comprehension, okay, to get this output. The list number underscore list will be populated by the items in range from 0 to 19 if the items values is divisible by 2. Now example 5, nested if. Now here we are using which conditional? Nested if with list comprehension. Num underscore list is equals to within the square bracket y for y in range 100 if y is divisible by 2 is equals to 0 if y is divisible by 5 equals to 0. So here we want divisible by 2 as well as divisible by 5. Now print num underscore list. The output will be this one. So this is nothing but nested if statement with the list comprehension. Here nested if is nothing but the conditional. Okay. Now here list comprehension checks. So here the order in which order here the order in which the list comprehension checks. So here is y divisible by 2 or not? Then next is y divisible by 5 or not? If y satisfy both the conditions, y is appended to the num underscore list. Okay. Here nested loops in list comprehension. Firstly, we have seen the for loop versus list comprehension. Then if lambda functions with the list comprehension, conditionals in the list comprehension, now nested loops in the list comprehension. Suppose we need to compute the transpose of a matrix that requires nested for loop. Let's see how it is done using a normal for loop first. Now example 7, transpose of a matrix using nested loops. Here transpose is equals to square bracket matrix is equals to within the square bracket we have to write the matrix over here for I in range length within the parenthesis matrix 0. Transpose underscore row is equals to within the square bracket for row in matrix transpose underscore row dot append within the parenthesis row I. Transpose dot append transpose underscore row. Now here print transpose. So here the output will be like this: 14253648. The above code used two for loops to find transpose of a matrix. We can also perform nested iteration inside a list comprehension in this section. We will find transpose of a matrix using nested loop inside the list comprehension. Here, example 8. Transpose of a matrix using list comprehension. In the previous one, we have seen nested loops for the transpose of a matrix. Now we'll be seeing transpose of a matrix using list comprehension. Here the matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Transpose is equals to row I for row in matrix for I in range 2. Print transpose. Now you can compare the lines of the code we have written in the list comprehension as well as the in the nested loops. See, this is a big code and this is a smaller code. That's why this comprehension is more comfortable and more elegant. Okay. Now, in the above program, we have a variable matrix which have 4 rows and 2 columns. So we need to find transpose of the matrix. For that, we use list comprehension. The nested loops in the list comprehension don't work like normal nested loops. In the above program for I in range 2 is executed before row I. For row in matrix, hence at first a value is assigned to I, then item directed by the row is appended in the transpose variable. Now here, there are some key points to remember regarding the list comprehension. So first thing, list comprehension is an elegant way to define and create a list based on the existing list. Okay. Now, second point, list comprehension is generally more compact and faster than the normal functions and loops for creating the list. However, we should avoid writing very long list comprehension in one line to ensure that code is user friendly. Now, the last and the foremost point is remember every list comprehension can be rewritten in for loop, but every for loop can't be rewritten in the form of list comprehension. So this was the topic regarding list comprehension, and this was about all about the list comprehension. I hope you understood this concept. Thank you.